Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience, where today we're going to be talking about 4 habits that you need to form in order to make many sales. Now, you might just think, oh, this is not the podcast for me, but I want to tell you something. At any given moment in life, you are either selling something, you're selling somebody on your ideas, you're selling somebody on your body language, you're selling somebody on accepting your reasoning in an argument, all right? And in order for you to do that and to win in any sale that you're going to make, you literally have to form a habit of listening, which makes you have an upper hand in whatever conversations you're going to be making. So a lot of people fail when it comes to closing sales or to actually make money in their business just because they're not really good salespeople. So today I'm just going to be telling you about how the habits you need to form in order for you to start making sales. And one of them is listening. All right. So for you to be a great salesperson or somebody who is making a living doing what they absolutely love, you got to create relationships with people. People buy from those that they know, like, and trust. And the most important skill in building strong and enduring relationships is the ability for you to be a great listener. It is one of the human needs that people love to be listened to. Have you ever heard when you say somebody's name, they sort of stand up and then they start paying attention because they love, first of all, the sound of their names, and second of all, the sound of their own voice. So why not let them speak? Why not let them give you all the answers to what their pain is? Why not let them give you answers to, what their problems are? Because as a business person, your duty is to solve people's problems. And ironically, most of us are really terrible listeners. It's like we completely understand the importance of listening well, but we just can't bring ourselves to actually do it consistently. When somebody is saying something, we're already thinking about the next sentence or what answer we're going to be giving to them. But lucky for you, you're sitting here with this episode with me, and you're going to become a better listener. And you're also going to know that becoming a better listener is something that you can absolutely become good at. All right. And in doing so, you become great at starting relationships and maintaining them. So I'm going to be giving you 4 most important things that you need to practice in every conversation in order for you to achieve the goal of selling your ideas or your products to the prospects that are willing and able to buy from you. The thing that you really got to do is focus on the prospect or the person you're speaking to, not on the outcome or the sales opportunity. Now, people buy things because they've got a problem they want to solve. People buy things because they've got a problem that they want to solve. And most of us, especially when we're a business person, we are problem solvers at heart. And that's the reason why in a lot of sales training, like old or traditional sales training programs, they focus on identifying the problem that needs to be solved, and we have to demonstrate how our product or service is uniquely qualified to be the best solution that the customer is looking for. But a lot of great salespeople, they actually ignore this advice. Have you ever seen that when you're speaking to somebody who's well educated, they let you speak a lot, right? They simply let you speak, and then all they do is listen. They're constantly confirming back to you, the prospect, that you're being heard, you're being understood. Why do you think people go to psychologists a lot? Because psychologists just sit there and listen, notebook in hand, and then they just listen while you ramble upon up until you even find answers for yourself. And guess what? This gives you, the customer, permission to share in a safe and non-pressure environment. And it creates a conversation where you literally are hearing your voice and you feel like you're also being understood. And guess what? When somebody feels understood, they create a connection with the person that is giving them that opportunity to be heard. So refuse to lead with problem solving advice and thinking that you know it all. Because let me tell you something, our customers are already searching our products beforehand. All they just want you to do is to validate their ideas and encourage their dreams while you're justifying their failures because they've been trying to do this before with other people that are not you. All right. And then you start creating a connection with that salesperson, because when somebody feels like they're being heard, it's easy for them to formulate trust. And people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So if you're going to be making many sales out there and growing your business, you need to start by relationship building. And that's going to be your secret key to success. So step number one to becoming a better listener is very simple. Focus on the person, not their problem. Or do not focus on the sales outcome or whatever the opportunity that the problem is going to present. There's got to be a time and a place for you to show how your product or your service can actually solve their problem. Sometimes people just want to be heard. Sometimes they just want somebody to sit there and listen to them. You will know when the time comes because they'll ask for that information. Until then, just chill out, focus on being present in that conversation, and you will see the results coming for themselves. And if the person is not talking, point number two is ask open-ended questions. All right. So if you pay attention to the questions that people ask you, as well as the ones that you're asking them, usually you find that people are asking questions to get answers, which means a lot of the time when we ask another person a question, we are subconsciously encouraging that person to give us an answer. And people will always want to fill a void. All right. So half of the time, make sure that the questions that you're asking are not closed questions, because closed questions don't give you an opportunity to listen. So have you ever heard here before, when you're trying to create a conversation with somebody, that actually converts them to thinking that you are a loyal person to them? The goal of these conversations is less talky, more listening. So the less of the information that they hear from you will make it easy for them to make a connection with you, because most of the things that they're hearing are from their head already and it's already making sense. Right. So I'll tell you something. People like me, when I am talking, I'm from Zimbabwe, as you would know. I speak 3 or 4 different languages. Every time I'm speaking, I'm hearing my accent and it makes sense to me. If I'm speaking to somebody else and they concentrate on my accent, they miss out on the things that I'm talking about. And guess what? Are we communicating there? So if you're asking questions, you let the other person speak, and the more they hear their own voice, the more they come to a conclusion for themselves. And asking open-ended questions would actually communicate that you're interested and you actually care about the prospect or the person you're talking to. Instead of closed questions, they actually just communicate that all you care about is the information that you're going to get from that person. All right. So don't be an ask-hole. You want to make sure that you're asking questions that make the other person feel good. And you start creating a relationship. If you're asking open-ended questions, you're creating relationships. And if you're just asking closed questions that have a yes or no answer, you are transaction-based. And that makes it harder for people to connect with you. So there are a few open-ended questions that work well. You might be confused as to which questions can you ask when somebody, you're talking to them and you're trying to present your product, all right? One question you could ask is, what caused you to actually listen to this podcast today? Or what caused you to take my call today? Or to schedule the meeting? And then they'll tell you maybe what their problem was, et cetera, et cetera. And then when they've told you their problem, you ask them, so what is standing in the way to you actually solving that problem? They will tell you, because whenever you ask somebody a question, it is natural for them to want to give an answer. And you can always be adding more. If you don't understand what it is that they're saying, you can just say, can you tell me more about that? Tell me more. Whenever somebody tells you to tell them more, tell is an doing word. They will literally start telling you everything. And when they've told you, ask them how they feel about that. Now you can keep putting that question in and around whatever it is that you're saying. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? And when they've finished talking about that, ask about the other people they've mentioned, because every story has characters, every story has props. How does the rest of your team feel about that? How does your boss react to softwares that are not working or digital marketers that are not giving you results? How do they feel about that? And when your prospect answers something, you ask them, how did you come to that conclusion? How did you arrive at that decision? Because this question is powerful when they've told you why they've selected a prior product or something. It tells you their buying decision. It tells you their buying methodology, and you can capitalize on that. And now you understand who makes the decisions in this business, who wears the pants in this house. Because being a good listener is generally making the conversation all about the person across from you, even if it's a video call, all right? Not the information that they can supply you, right? So a lot of people are out there just gathering information, which is not it. The important thing is, like I mentioned, psychology there, all right? Each question starts with what, how, and can. All of these are designed to give you room to expand on that and to ask more questions. So when you ask questions that start with why is it that you may wonder? Because why can impart judgment on the question, and people don't like being judged. So never ask why questions. Why did you do that? They might feel like you're judging them, all right? And one other thing is, once you've started listening, keep reflecting back to what you've heard the person saying. This is another key that is maybe borrowed from the conflict resolution world. It's called reflective listening. Now, reflective listening means you're repeating back, often in their own words, what the person across from you is saying. Like I said, I speak in a different accent. And the way I probably mix my words is based on the language pattern that I grew up speaking. If you repeat back what I've said in exactly the same format I've said it, I would assume that you've understood me, and I would assume that I am putting my message across, which makes me like you even a whole lot more. Remember, it's not about information. It's about making the prospect or the person you're speaking to feel understood and really, really connected to you. And when you reflect back, like you bounce back to what they say, it also shows them that you actually care and you are actually listening carefully. So pay attention when you're on a sales call or when somebody is talking to you. How many people are truly listening? You would be amazed. Very few. And you're lucky enough that you now understand that if you truly listen, you compare and contrast how you actually feel when somebody is not listening to you. And I guess you will favor the person that has actually connected with you, the person that has listened and given you feedback. Yeah. So in other words, reflective listening makes people feel heard. And when people genuinely feel heard, all sorts of good things start happening for you as a business person. Okay. So the job of you as a business person is to encourage people's dreams, justify their failures because they've tried before they came to you, and allay their fears, all right? They obviously have fears that they might have, concerns and whatever emotions that they might be experiencing talking to you, So you want to reflect back to what they've said. This builds trust and confidence, because half of the time you normally have 2 to 3 minutes to actually create rapport with anyone that you're going to be speaking to. And people don't have time to see that you're going to be there or you're going to do what you say you're going to do. People just want to be understood. People just want people to care about them and what they're saying. So when you acknowledge and you validate what somebody has said, their fears and concerns and their emotions, you send the message that you've understood them at a deeper level, and you're going to be with them along the journey to find the best solution, which is in their best interest, not just what you're selling. And once you've done that, you have actually made their job easier. Because half of the time, it depends on the level of the person that you're talking to. They are always afraid to lose their job. And if you show that whatever solution you're going to be giving them is in their best interest, then they're not going to be losing their job just because they chose to use you as their provider. And it's really not that hard. So just state their fears, just state their concerns, allay with those fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Show them that you are understanding them, you understand who they are, you understand how they're feeling. And there's some questions that you can ask them and put trust in them. You would say, if you were my brother or my sister, I would say to you what I'm about to say to you now. Listen, all right? Because people are afraid of making bad decisions out there. The moment they don't feel like they're being listened to, nobody wants to feel ashamed or nobody wants to be belittled. There's never going to be any relationship whenever you're going to be selling your ideas, your products, or your opinions to somebody else that won't improve dramatically if you get into the habit of validating the next person that you're listening to, their concerns and their emotions. Remember, encourage their dreams, justify their failures, ally with their fears, confirm their suspicions, help them throw rocks at their enemies. And you only can achieve this if you're listening with intent to help. And once you've done that, help them by actually helping them. And in the process and in the spirit of helping, why don't you join us in the Live Long Digital community today, where we're helping other small businesses like yours earn more money with less struggle. I'll see you on the other episode.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au